And we're recording. Good morning, Angie.
Good morning, Ash. Good to see you. How are we?
How's it going?
Yeah, very well, thank you. Yeah,
So,
good.
so we thought it was a good idea to put some value out there for our connections, our followers.
Okay.
And yeah, we decided the topic of the value of just slowing down during this time.
That's
Just
fantastic. I love that topic. Yes.
yeah, just quieting down.
Right.
So if anyone started watching this, I guess what you'll learn from this little chat of maybe 15, 20 minutes
Yes.
is that the value of just stopping and how
Right.
it can um, give people some actionable steps,
Okay. Yes.
make out
Yes.
conversation of what they can
Yeah.
do now, today, to start the process of taking
Right.
people out of
Okay.
pain. Because it seems there's a lot of pain out there at the moment, a lot of anxiety, a lot of stress, there's a lot of overwhelm.
Yes. Completely agree. Yeah. So we're
So,
in a challenging time, aren't we? And a lot of people are experiencing this overwhelm that you speak of. You know, they're inundated in their mind with too many plans, and they don't seem to be getting around to executing any one of them. Right? That makes them feel worse.
yeah,
And then they're guilt-ridden, and then they're blocked. You know, so they don't feel productive in their plans, and they feel really more fueled with anxiety than when they started out with. Right?
I
Just
guess
pretty much.
first, I think we should tell the people who you are. I think we should qualify you first. So, just
Yes.
briefly, just explain to everyone who you are, what you do, how you
Okay.
help people, just a
Right.
bit of
Right.
your
Good
background.
idea. Okay. So. Right. Okay. So my name is Angi Devi. I am a well-being instructor, and I use a mind and movement approach to help people find emotional freedom and step into their true power. Right. So I use meditation and mindfulness for a number of things, and especially I use it alongside fitness activities. So it's quite unusual that somebody is so passionate about both of those disciplines, exercise as well as the mindset work, right, and the spirituality. But I really do plug in both, because I think both unify doing the mindful work but also taking action, right? And that's what I do.
So, just going back to what you were saying,
Okay.
yeah, about what sort of what are you seeing at a moment in this current situation from your followers? And
Right.
I
Right.
saw this morning that you've done a meditation class online.
Yes. Yes.
So
Well
what are you?
spotted. Indeed.
So
Right.
what are you seeing? What are you hearing at the moment? What are you
Okay.
helping people with at the moment?
Exactly like what I just said there. It's more the fact that people are sometimes trying too hard to be silent and to be still, because they recognize that having a mindfulness or meditation practice is going to help them with their anxiety, but they're just not able to stop the mind chatter. Now, when you've got that narrative in your head constantly, it's this nagging feeling that is sapping away at your energy. So even though you're trying really hard to do the right thing and to be all zen zoned and silent and spiritual and calm, it's difficult because you're going against the grain of what you naturally feel. And that is, challenged. And you do feel anxious, and you do feel pretty much up against the wall. Everything is caving in on you. You are so uncertain that it's hard to relax and allow everything to be, to surrender into what is, so to speak. And it's difficult to do that. So the number one challenge that I'm finding right now is people are really trying to be positive in these challenging times, but they are struggling because they don't know how to do it. That's what it is. Now, there are other issues, like residual problems, like maybe they have got overwhelm, maybe they are, they've got some self-esteem or confidence issues, and this is going to show up in ways of self-sabotage, and it's going to show up as like procrastination, and it will stop them even though they're trying really hard to get things done, right? So those two are probably the biggest areas: anxiety, procrastination. The two go hand in hand, and both very common, and especially now.
So what do you think it is about this situation that's taking
Well,
people into this space?
right. The biggest challenge, I believe, is that they are so uncertain and they're not used to having their routine being taken away from them, so abruptly. They need a sense of security, and they just a sense of security in what they know, familiar ground. And now we are in a time that is different and unusual. It's really shocking for some people who are, really comforted by their routines. And now because that's been taken away from them, it's quite disturbing for many. So
So
it's how people
our
that
routine's been
thing,
disturbed. So someone might be watching
disturbing.
this. They're used to going
Yeah.
to work 9 to 5, and
Yes.
now all of a sudden we've got 8 hours a day of being at home,
Yes.
and they're a bit,
Absolutely.
and they've got to spend time with themselves. So I guess people are used to being around people and
Yes. Yes.
just maybe following people, and all of a sudden now they're spending time with their own body, own mind, and having to make their
Yeah.
own decisions rather
Yes.
than doing what other people ask them to do,
Yeah.
especially
Exactly. So
especially
there's
in the corporate space.
yeah. Okay. So there's a
So let's
couple of things
let's
that
let's
you've said
work on.
actually. Okay, yeah. So there's a couple of things that you've just mentioned there. The first thing is that they're used to going out, they're used to interacting with people. So if you've got someone who is typically quite sociable and an extrovert, if you like, when they're now pulled away from their world and they're in the confines of their own space, they're literally going to be going up the wall because they're not familiar with this. So it really does go against their natural state of being, because they're that way inclined. They like the sociability, they've got that. And so that's the first thing. But the other thing is, a lot of people use this outside world as a means of escapism, right? So
Mm,
it's a means of discharging, say, their everyday problems and their
mm,
anxiety. So whilst they're going out, they're sort of in some ways suppressing any real issues they've got for confronting their own problems or any hidden fears. So while that's happening, it's very easy for that to be discounted. Really, they can leave that alone while they go out and carry on with their daily life. Now they don't have that choice. They're in the home and they've got no one to interact with but themselves, and like you said, their own minds and the fearful thoughts that lie within. And this is the biggest problem for a lot of people, because they can't get away from their own thoughts. And that is really, really scary for people, because they're now, for the first time for many, confronted with this
yeah.
idea of who they are, and all the things that scare them. It's like one by one is just surfacing one after another, and it's really heavy for a lot of people, understandably.
So it's bringing a lot of stuff to the surface all this time
Yeah.
along.
Yes. Yeah.
So I guess is that this is where people like yourself and other people in this sort of I don't know what space would you call it, well-being space.
Yes. Yes.
You
Yeah.
can really sort of serve people and help people, take
Oh,
people out
absolutely.
of pain into just being safe. So because I guess it's just in the next few months just being in the safety rather than focus on growing too much,
Yes.
just
Yes.
being out of pain. So I know this morning done a meditation class. So
Yes.
what's it been like for you, Angie? What
Okay.
sort of journey have you gone on in lockdown?
Well, on a personal journey, I've kind of enjoyed it, to be honest, because I'm used to this meditative space, being on my own, managing my own emotions and working on that in a way that is like quite calm and quite spiritual and quite introverted. So that's my natural style. So to be honest, anyone who is that way in their personality will find a lot of comfort in lockdown mode, to be honest, being as they are left alone to their devices. But my journey as an instructor or a teacher, it's been really challenging trying to bring people who have been serving before to connect with them in a different medium, because it's really has been a dramatic change for many people. So they've not taken to it. They're used to having the face-to-face interaction, and they've just not fared well with this technology, let's say. So
Mm.
unfortunately, many connections have been lost, but equally new connections have been found. So this morning, as you noted, I did two meditations, actually, back
Wow.
to back in different groups, and it's been really nice. And first one was in a fitness center. So it's really nice that I'm entering spaces and serving clients that wouldn't ordinarily use a meditation class, and certainly not like fitness goers or the workout types. wouldn't really use that as a go-to class or a session, but now they have been coming and they really enjoyed it, and the feedback has been phenomenal. So I do advise them to use that in conjunction with physical exercise. So it's good for me as an instructor to have the means to send my message out there to people who wouldn't ordinarily see it or receive it.
That's great.
You know, yeah. Oh, it's going really well. It's going really well. So there were teething problems naturally. Myself, with my technological limits, I had one hiccup after another trying to serve my clients using this software, which is Zoom. I did have my share of problems.
How did you, Angie, how did you get out of the space? You said that you were not sure on how to use Zoom and things like that. I know a lot of people, when they're in that space, there's a lot of resistance, and they they don't. Yes. So what did you do in your sort of a mindset to take you from that space of being not sure how to do it, just to taking action and just doing it?
Okay, so I know I am biased when I say this, but having a good meditation or mindfulness practice is what saved me, because it's true. You can go up the walls, literally go round and round and give up, throw the towel in, walk away and think it's not for me. And it's really common, and I could see myself heading that way. But when you do find the space to center yourself, become grounded, you think clearly and rationally. And when you've got that thinking process, you do manage to think your way out of a bad situation. And it's okay if it doesn't work out. You just move on and try something else, which is what I did. So I moved to Facebook Lives, and that fared very well, actually. And that's the one I've been using since.
Yeah, so, and you can continue with that.
Hopefully, so yeah. That's the plan.
So what do you think at the moment is causing it there? You know, we spoke about having no escapism. Do you think that there's anything else? I mean, I'm thinking there's a lot of news at the moment, and there's a lot of destruction. There's a lot of destructive news.
Yes.
A lot of propaganda on social media everywhere. How do you think that's affecting people, and what would you advise people?
Okay, so that's a really, really good point and amazing observation there, because it's true. And I've noticed a trend again with the type of person who is constantly following the news and the figures on, you know, on the tolls, the recovery rates, the death toll, you know, how they compare with all the countries. And you can really see them getting wound up by this news. And the fear factor is, of course, kicking in. And a lot of it, I mean, there's conspiracies out there, aren't there? You know, everyone has their own opinion. But it is going to change how you see your situation. It is going to feel more scary. You know, you are naturally going to feel more anxious and the need to protect yourself more. And, you know, of course, there are more reasons to be anxious when you are following the news the way people are doing. Now, there's two types of people. So there's one type who will just watch it for what it is, factual figures, take it on, make an informed decision, or walk away, unplug, and get on with their daily life. But there's another sort, if they find themselves being drawn in to a degree, it is affecting their well-being and their mindset, and they are feeling more anxious than normal. Switch off. You know, you've got to recognize your own triggers, and news right now is one of them. So yeah, spot on.
That's a trigger. Yeah. And we were speaking about triggers last week over the phone. I was telling you about my situation that I was watching. I was taking a lot of news about death rates and recovery rates in different countries, and we sort of pinpointed that might have been causing some of my anxiety I've been suffering.
Yes.
So I've sort of minimised my news consumption.
Good.
I think every 3 days I check just what's going on.
Right.
And I've been doing that for the last week, and nothing's changing. So I'm going to go longer now.
Yeah.
Every time I look, every 3 days, it's still the same. So I've looked at it this morning, actually. After I thought I was getting triggers when I was walking around the supermarket. So it's definitely something that looking at too much news, and nothing's going to change. You're going to get what benefits are you going to get from looking at the news? How is that going to serve you?
Yes.
Someone's going to tell you when you're allowed to go outside. Someone's going to let you know. No one's going to. You're going to find out someone's going to message you or.
Right.
I guess it's just no value in looking at news, because we don't know what's going to happen. No one knows what's going to happen. And it's all like predictions of what's going to happen at the moment. I want to go back to like, what if I am that sort of person who is like watching the news and feeling anxious about what could happen, and they might have been furloughed and they spend a lot of time themselves,
right.
and they used to be being busy. What sort of advice would you give to that person to take them out of that space
so
into
that's a really
in terms of in meditation and breathing?
Right.
And why should they?
Right, really, really good. So the first thing I'm going to do is commend you for your inner observation and the fact that you recognize that you've got triggers. For example, when you're going around the supermarket, this is where people are not really attuned to themselves, and they find themselves getting into a sticky situation where it's coming from. So you've done really well to just see your own reactions and see how you change once you have watched the news and for the 3 days that you don't. And quite right, there are things that are out of your control anyway, so why wind yourself up over these things that are we have no control over anyway. And like you said, it's not changed much. It is going to be what it is. So you do have to have a level of surrender. So that's one of the techniques that I use in my meditation classes. So now, another thing that we did actually completely miss out, a reason for anxiety is being furloughed, and the fact that there are job losses, there are long-term like absences from the workplace. Income has been stalled and small businesses are suffering, and this is a genuine problem, and it's going to have serious consequences. So for anyone who's in that situation, it's really easy to get wound up by the news, really, really think about the challenge that is in front of them. But one way to get out of that, first thing, is to get your clear thinking going. So right here, right now, what is the best thing that you can do in this moment in time? Now, trying to brainstorm your way from an anxious place is only going to make this matter worse, because you're just going to think of more problems, right? So the way to do it is exactly like what you said, is to use your breath and your breathing. Now, what you're doing here is physiologically, right, when you are actually breathing very deeply and very slowly and very consciously, with a level of observation on the way that you are breathing, you are bringing yourself into present moment. When you're in present moment, you're pulled away from everything that's happened in your past. So if you've had a bad experience before with business or whatever, that's gone. You're thinking about now. You're not imagining fear before it's happened. So you're not worrying about things unnecessarily. You're pulled back in the moment, focusing on your breath. The second thing that you're doing is physiologically, you're actually allowing, especially with a condition like what COVID presents, is your respiratory problem. So you're allowing that to happen in the best way possible by really maximizing your lung efficiency and your oxygen uptake. So for those reasons, physiologically, your body's got the best benefit, but also your mind. So you're healing your cells, removing any cortisol levels, which is the high stress levels from your body and your cells, but also you are allowing the oxygen to go into your brain, and you're allowing yourself the space to think in the present now, and you will think very clearly how you can make the best out of this situation, and you will think of a way out of it. You will always find a way out. It's just a matter of having a level of belief, which meditation and mindfulness gives you that, and a level of this rational space to give yourself to think. And that's why breathwork is so important. It's not just the fact that breathing, take a deep breath, it relaxes you. Yes, you will get relaxation. Yes, it does relax tension from your muscles, but also there's more to it. You are channeling your best version. You really are tapping into that brain power that you didn't even know you had.
How long, for someone who's never done breathwork or meditation, how long would you recommend someone does per day, per session of meditation? And what time is best, in the morning, the afternoon, the evening? If they've never done it before, would you advise if they do it long periods? Where should they do it? Should it be in the quiet? Should it be outside? Yeah, if you'd like to talk about that.
That's a fantastic question, actually, because you're quite right. A lot of people put way too much pressure on themselves. And as someone who has dealt with hundreds of people starting out as complete beginners, this is a fundamental question what you have posed. So thank you for that, and actually bringing that to the forefront. And that is, the best time to do it is in the morning, because you're set up for the rest of the day. It is, right? And that's a given, really. The moment you wake up, I advise students to get themselves comfortable. So if they want to take the comfort break, just maybe, get themselves into a comfortable position, a different space if necessary, and then begin the practice. So here is where it becomes very important, because I do advise you to not use the bedroom. So if you do wake up and you're in your room, fine, so be it. If you've got nowhere to do it, I know, you may be socially distancing from members of the family, so be it, then use the room. If you can help it, use a different room, because psychologically you are conditioning yourself into a habit that is different, that is awake, that is alive, and not in sleepy mode, so straight away you're pulled out of that zone. In the morning means you have automatically set that trigger in the morning and set yourself a good habit that you can follow very easily every day without forgetting. The danger in doing it as soon as you remember is you may not remember for the rest of the day, which means that practice gets long forgotten, right? So if you've forgotten, then the next best time is as soon as you remember to do it, right? But the best time to do it is when you wake up in the morning. The best place to do it is somewhere that is not in your room. And advise around...
How long would you recommend for a novice to do it?
Right, of course. I would say, as a complete beginner, literally just do it for 2 or 3 minutes. And I really do mean 2 or 3 minutes, no longer, especially when you are building up your habit, because a lot of people make the mistake of sitting down, trying to do that 20-minute meditation and giving it their all. Now, if you're not used to it, like I said, that's a hell of a lot of pressure on yourself. And if you don't get to silence mode in that time, you're really going to feel really frustrated. And that's a sensation or an unwanted behavior you can really do without in the morning, So just literally 2 or 3 minutes. And if you don't get that peace of mind, it's okay. You've sat down, you've sat still. And that's the other tip that I'm going to give you, is before you even start doing any of that, just practice what your breathing feels like. Be familiar with your breath. Do you breathe through the nose? I had one girl yesterday and she could not breathe properly. So even before we started any meditation, it's like, get your breathing going through your nose, because she said, I only breathe through the mouth. It's like, no, you're not maximizing that then. So before you even get to know yourself, 2 or 3 minutes as you're starting out, then make it longer. And then put the tips and the tricks and all the style and the flair and the guided visual imagery and all after. Yeah?
Should you just get in a routine, doing that at the same time every day?
Yes. Routine is what will make you win, more than the sophistication of the method that you apply. It's the fact that you are there every single day, showing up, and you're there committed to this practice, and the intention is always there. The intention to either clear your mind, relieve anxiety, let go of something, surrender, find yourself, look for an answer within. That intention is that you will get closer to what it is that you want.
I know when I started, Angie, I struggled to get rid of all the thoughts. I had so many thoughts coming. And I guess, what would you say to people, someone who's saying, I can't meditate, I've got all these things going in my head, and, it's not working because I've got all these things, and how do I silence my thoughts? What would you say to that person to...
Again, that's just such a phenomenal question, because it's the one that I get asked repeatedly. To silence your thoughts is to put too much pressure on going against who you are. Of course, there are going to be thoughts. It's the way we are wired. We're wired to think. So to try and shut off all channels of thinking is not natural anyway. Okay. But the way to do that is, rather than say, I want to silence my thoughts, because then you're thinking about how do I silence it? Then that's another thought. So counterproductive, is to redirect your focus onto something else. So it's okay to think about, how does my body feel? It's okay to think about, how does my breathing feel now? It's okay to think, is the breathing on the exhale making a different sound to the inhale? It's okay to think, is it really going down the windpipe into my diaphragm? Those thoughts are productive thoughts, because it's making you aware, and there's observation and there's presence involved with that thought. So it's not cutting off thinking altogether. It's redirecting the focus of your thought to something that is more conducive to your practice. Yeah, it's more productive for you.
So I'm visualizing now. I'm sat down in a quiet place. It's a morning. I've just woke up. Now I'm going to do it for 2 or 3 minutes, and you told me I'm gonna, I'm not gonna silence before. I'm just gonna let him pass through. And what sort of actual technique in terms of your breathing?
Okay, right.
How long should your inhale be? How exhale? Is it like one technique that is good for one person, or another? Yeah, talk about that.
It's never one technique suits all, but I do gauge it depending on the person in front of me. So to be honest, if say I'm doing a one-to-one session, I will check these things and I will ask them the questions. And if I feel like they need further guidance, because some people do, some don't, in which case I would advise on a basic level, inhale to a count of 4, pause to a count of 4, and exhale to a count of 6. This automatically makes the exhale just that
through the
little.
mouth or through the nose?
Yeah.
Exhale, because some meditators advise to exhale out of the mouth, but some tend to take out the nose. What is the difference?
Okay, so it's just getting used to the different respiratory system. I advise you to breathe in through the nose and out from the mouth, because you are really using both of those, right? But if you are struggling with your nasal breathing, I advise you to isolate the nose breathing and do that first to get that strengthened. As a strengthening exercise, do that in isolation first. But to use the system in unison, I advise in through the nose and out from the mouth, right? Perfect. If a count is necessary and they want that as additional instruction, in to a count of 4, stop for a count of 4, and out to a count of 6 would be one pattern. Now, not only does this give them a guidance on a relaxation technique, because the exhale is automatically going to bring them into a state of relaxation, it gives them something to focus on. That is not the problem or the to-do list or all the millions of things that they've got to do. If at any point you lose that track of thought, you just start at the beginning, no problem. The trick is to get the pressure away from that and not to put too much on getting it right. It's okay, and I think that's the biggest takeaway from here, is to really give yourself that space to develop it in time. It's all right if you don't get it the first time. Maybe 3-4 days later, when you sit down to do it, you will do it effortlessly, and it's all right to build up to that. Take as long as you need.
Okay. So we've got a couple of minutes left with you. Have we got time to have a quick 2-minute session?
Oh, let's do it. Yes. Okay.
Just me and you do it, and anyone else who's watching this can join in. So so what would you sort of say to them to prepare them?
To prepare yourself.
Take it away.
Yes, in a comfortable position. I would say for this specific technique, preferably seated upright, because you are in a more alert position. Some people prefer to sit down. If you have mobility problems, you may lie down. That's fine too, if you can sit upright. Make yourself comfortable, and if possible, have your feet touching the ground so that you are connected to the ground right now. And if you can place
shoes on or shoes off.
Shoes off preferably, but it's okay.
Okay.
It makes you more comfortable having them on, right? Okay, yeah. Keep the palms of your hands on your thighs, so they are just placed gently in front of you, right? That's good.
Palms up or palms down?
Palms down, like so.
Okay. And close my eyes, or?
Right, I will talk you through that at the right moment when you can close your eyes down. But for now, I would just like you just to get used to the breathing pattern, which is to breathe into a count of 4 in your own time.
Into the nose.
Through the nose, yeah. Pause briefly to a count of 4. And breathe out from the mouth to a count of 6. Continue to breathe in this pattern. Inhale to a count of 4. Pause briefly to a count of 4. And exhale through the mouth if possible to a count of 6. Continue to breathe slowly and deeply, and the next time you exhale, you can close your eyelids right down. That's good. As you continue to breathe, just bring your awareness to your breathing pattern. Follow the flow of your breath now. Feel how your breath feels as it leaves your nostrils. And as it leaves your mouth, that's good. And as you invite the air back into your lungs, Notice all the tiny muscles around your eyes and keep your eyes softened. Bring your shoulders down away from your ears and feel the relaxation all the way down your spine. I will go silent now for a moment or two and allow you to do this in your own time. And if you become distracted at any point, that's okay. You just bring yourself back to your breathing pattern when you remember to do so. So until you hear my voice again, simply relax. And as you continue to breathe deeply and slowly now, just feel the sensations on your nostrils, the warmth of your breath there, and the coolness as you invite it back in. Notice the sensations on your skin as your breath lands, and notice the change of the pace of your breathing through inhale and exhale. That's right. Bring your relaxation now all the way down your arms, if you will, and you may feel a tingling sensation in the palms of your hands now. And it's a good, comforting sensation. If you hear any sounds around you, they just help you to relax even more. That's good. And now you will just take a moment to feel deeply gratitude, full of gratitude and love for the life that you have and all the things that are in your life, your experiences, and the people that you know. Feeling deeply grateful right now. That's right. And when it feels right to do so, you can bring your breathing back to a normal pace. And when you feel ready, you can now open your eyes. That's right. Just give you a moment to compose yourself and bring you round. And it's as simple as that. Just taking a moment or two out of your day to do that. So what I did there was a demonstration. Just while you compose yourself, I will just explain what I did. So when I noticed the breath was coming out from the nostril as well, I did obviously redirect my instruction to make you more attuned to that. I also did, part of it was guided, so you've got the instructions to help you ease your way through that breathing pattern, but for a moment I did give you the space to do it all by yourself. Now I think it's very important to allow you to do it in your own time, so you build up your own discipline, right?
So people can have maybe chimes to sort of...
Yeah. Now that's very useful to have a sound in the backdrop that is soothing and that is comforting for you. Again, that is one of your own personal choice and taste. Yeah, is again a nice, useful little accessory. Yeah, of course.
Yeah. So feedback.
So how do you find that?
I feel nice. I feel nice. I feel
good. Yeah.
It's like, whoa, a big, hey, wow, amazing.
Yeah.
And that's the power of the breaths.
The power of the breath, exactly.
Yeah. It can make you feel, it's like taking, I don't know, taking like a jab, like morphine. That's like a morphine jab.
Exactly, light.
Like when you wake up, I feel now like waking up from like an operation, like when you know that drowsiness.
Yeah. So when I say like coming round, it really is a feeling of coming round after something like really, really deep like that. Yeah, it is, because some people are not used to breathing and having this space in themselves. So it can be quite disorientating for some people. So if there are unwanted sensations, it's nice just to bring, that balance between having the silent space as well as guided instruction. So there is a comfort zone and a little bit of a crutch there to lean on, while you're doing this.
That's really nice.
Good,
so,
good.
We'll wrap up now.
Okay.
But before we finish, if anyone wanted to get in touch with you and wanted to know more about the services that you're offering, how would they get hold of you?
Right. So my Facebook account is @DeviWorkout. So I run my physical, practical classes through there, as well as my mindset and meditation workshops. All right. So yeah, do get in touch. My name is Angi Devi. Like I said, I do mind and movement approaches. So
You're doing meditation. You're doing meditation sessions. I know you did one this morning. Is there a schedule, or is it very much?
It's every Tuesday morning at 8 o'clock through the virtual fitness centre. Now, this is a fitness centre that's been run independently by a bunch of instructors who are offering their services during the lockdown period. So the link, I can send you that afterwards. Yeah, that's great. And every Tuesday morning at 8 o'clock, you will see me live delivering a session just like this one.
Yeah. Tuesday morning, 8 o'clock, UK time, by the way, if anyone's watching abroad. And it's free to join.
It is, absolutely, yeah. You
30 minutes? How long is it last?
It's literally just 10 to 15 minutes. I deliberately keep them short, so it's user-friendly, accessible to all, and easy just to get it, in your schedule before you set off to work or your daily schedule.
And if anyone would like anyone's got any questions about well-being, meditation, anything that we discussed,
please
get in touch. Get in touch, and we'll put you in the right path.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
Have a soulful day, Angie. Wonderful to talk to you. Appreciate your time.
Thank you.
And
good one.
Keep being calm. Keep being well. And I'll catch up with you soon.
Indeed you shall. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.